A 15-year-old boy battling leukemia steps into a sacred basilica seeking a miracle to mend his ailing spirit. Surrounded by the air thick with incense and prayers, he stands before an altar, believing in the divine potential of the miraculous roses that once bloomed here. Suddenly, a crowd of pilgrims erupts nearby, their voices vibrating with stories of healing and faith. But what unfolds next will challenge Carlo's understanding of suffering and hope. How can faith and resilience truly transform one's darkest moments? Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments where you're listening from. The train rattled into Ferrara, the sounds of wheels against the tracks filling the air with an invigorating rhythm. As he stepped off, Carlo Acutis' heart surged with a blend of excitement and reverence. At just 15 years old, he was drawn not by the allure of adventure, but by a deeper calling, a sacred mission to explore the miraculous history that surrounded him. Today was not just an ordinary day. It held the promise of revelation in the city famed for its Eucharistic Miracle from 1171, an event that transcended time. Navigating through the winding streets, Carlo felt the vibrant pulse of the city. Ferrara's architecture whispered tales of ages past, its ornate buildings standing as silent witnesses to countless pilgrimages. He could almost hear the echoes of faith resonating within the stone walls. As he made his way toward the Basilica of Santa Maria in Vado, his thoughts danced between curiosity and anxiety. The weight of his recent leukemia diagnosis still loomed over him, yet hope flickered like a candle in a dark room, vulnerable but illuminating. Carlo arrived at the basilica, its grandeur captivating him immediately. Ornate carvings adorned every surface, sunlight filtering through stained glass, casting kaleidoscopic hues against the walls. The air thickened with the aromatic scent of incense, a mingling of prayers rising toward heaven. "This is the place," he murmured to himself, eyes wide with awe. Here, he believed, lay the intersection between the divine and human struggle, a story waiting for him to unravel. He approached the altar with reverence, the legends of miraculous roses blooming from this very spot weaving through his mind. His heart raced with anticipation as he thought of those petals unfurling centuries ago, a visible manifestation of God's grace and love. It was a thought that resonated deeply as he grappled with his own suffering, the pain brought on by his illness acting as both thief and teacher. In this holy space, he longed for a miracle, no matter how small, to soothe the turmoil within. With a deep breath, Carlo closed his eyes and reached out in silent prayer. "Lord, grant me strength. Help me understand your love through this story, through these miracles." As if in response, a calming presence enveloped him, reminiscent of the warmth of the sun breaking through clouds. During a moment of stillness, he sensed that he was not alone. It was a quiet reassurance, a promise that his journey was just beginning. Suddenly, a commotion drew his attention to a nearby group of pilgrims gathered around a local botanist. Their faces were alight with excitement, absorbed in the wonders of the miracles associated with the petrified roses. "These flowers," the botanist explained passionately, "served as a testament to faith, a sign from God to the believers of this time." Carlo leaned in closer, captivated by the stories resonating among the pilgrims. There was a spark in their eyes that ignited his spirit, a reflected joy that resonated like music in his heart. "Can you believe it?" a woman whispered to her companion, her voice trembling with emotion. "These very roses have healed so many! A true miracle!" The botanist continued, detailing the historical accounts, recounting how the blood of Christ stained the roses, transforming them into symbols of eternal life and hope. Carlo's heart raced. This was not just history, it was a living legacy, one that breathed life into his own quest for understanding. Could I, too, bear witness to this beauty and faith? He pondered, feeling inspired by the stories swirling around him. Carlo's excitement surged. He had always been fascinated by miracles and their implications for humanity. Yet here, in this hallowed space, the stories became tangible, grounded in faith and devotion. As he listened intently, he started to imagine creating a project that would document these miraculous tales, bridging the past with the present, infusing hope into the hearts of others just as it had for him. "Can you feel it?" he asked the woman beside him. "The power of these stories? They're not just tales, they're lifelines." Her expression illuminated with understanding, and she nodded, "Yes, each miracle, each reminder of faith, it holds a profound meaning in our lives." As the day unfolded, Carlo found himself entirely absorbed, drawn deeper into the stories shared among the crowd. He recognized that these narratives were more than historical accounts. They were beating hearts, pulsing with divine potential. The weight of his illness began to lift, replaced by a sense of purpose as he envisioned himself as part of this grand tapestry. The boy who would chronicle the miracles of the Eucharist, revealing the divine beauty within the struggles of faith. Carlo's thoughts drifted back to his own battle with leukemia, and while shadows lingered, he felt fortified by the stories of triumph he was hearing, a reminder that light could penetrate even the deepest darkness. He decided he wanted to honor these miracles, to shed a light on the entwined paths of suffering and hope. As daylight faded, the basilica glowed with the warmth of candlelight, and Carlo recognized that this journey was only beginning. He felt empowered to seek out the truths hidden within the tales he had long cherished. Would he be able to weave together the threads of history and faith, and in doing so, ignite a flame of hope in others? With renewed determination surging in his spirit, Carlo turned to leave the basilica, ready to embrace the adventure ahead. Amidst uncertainty, one thing was crystal clear. Within these walls lay a divine narrative of miracles, waiting for him to unleash its profound power, intertwining with his own story of healing and grace. The journey would not only unfold the past, but illuminate the way forward to a future filled with hope, beauty, and faith. In the days that followed his inspiring visit to the basilica, Carlo's life took on a renewed significance. Yet the specter of leukemia continued to roam alongside him like an unwelcome shadow. As he endured the relentless treatments, he clung to the belief that each session would bring him closer to a breakthrough, fueling his desire to uncover the miraculous. While he faced pain and uncertainty, hope expanded within him, potent enough to drown out the darkness that sought to envelop his spirit. Evenings in the hospital became a blend of resilience and vulnerability, as he found solace in his writing. With pen in hand, he scrutinized his days, capturing the ups and downs of his journey. Each word brought clarity, transforming overwhelming emotions into reflections on faith, miracles, and ultimately healing. He found a rhythm in his thoughts, crafting a personal manifesto on resilience and hope that transcended his own experience. As autumn wore on, Carlo grew determined to create a community of support. Inspired by the connections he fostered at the basilica and the camaraderie among patients he had met, he proposed hosting regular gatherings. "Let's meet to share our stories," he declared during one of the treatment sessions. "Together, we can explore the miracles we've encountered and celebrate even the smallest victories." His patients, a motley group of souls who understood suffering intimately, responded with enthusiasm. Carlo's idea kindled a newfound spirit in the ward. Meetings were organized in the hospital's common area, where walls once painted in sterile white now brimmed with life. They adorned the venue with crafts, quotes, and images of the roses that had inspired Carlo since his visit to Ferrara. The patients became storytellers, and with each narrative shared, the room pulsed with joy and affirmation. "I never thought sharing my journey could feel so freeing," one man admitted, his voice heavy with gratitude. "Today was hard, but hearing your stories reminded me of the beauty around us." As the laughter echoed, Carlo felt a sense of wonder wash over him. These gatherings transcended mere storytelling. They became a sanctuary where love and encouragement flourished. They crafted a supportive fabric woven from their lived experiences, and Carlo saw their pain transform into purpose, a testament to the divine presence in their lives. For many, the meetings gave voice to anxieties they could no longer bear alone. A young girl spoke of her fears about her treatments, while another shared a moving account of the miracle she believed had saved her life. "It was like I could feel the very breath of God surrounding me and lifting my pain away," she said, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Carlo listened intently, allowing their stories to fold into his own narrative, each one carving a niche into the tapestry of miracles he envisioned. He began to see the collective stories emerge, illuminating the entwined paths of suffering and hope. It was like watching beautiful roses bloom amidst harsh conditions, a sign that divinity thrived even in the darkness. As each session progressed, Carlo realized the bond he shared with his fellow patients was growing stronger, and with it his own resilience fortified. Afternoons filled with stories of triumph helped him see that each struggle shared was not a reminder of suffering, but a celebration of life, of faith blossoming amid trials. One crisp afternoon, as sunlight broke through clouds, illuminating the gathering, Carlo felt a surge of inspiration. "Let's create a book together," he proposed, his excitement palpable. "We can share our collective experiences, our miracles. Let's illustrate how faith carries us through even the darkest valleys." The room erupted into enthusiastic discussion. Ideas flowed back and forth as they envisioned a collaborative volume brimming with testimonies and images that spoke to their unique journeys. Together, this was no ordinary book. It would become a beacon for others traveling similar paths, fortifying their spirits with stories filled with hope and miracles. Carlo took it upon himself to facilitate the chapters, interspersing their voices with the historical tales of the Eucharistic miracles. He wanted to bridge the past with the vibrant present, forging a connection between their experiences and the rich legacy of faith and miracles that had buoyed communities for centuries. With passion fueling him, he tirelessly typed late into the night, crafting the beginning of what would soon be a beautiful anthology. On one night, as he turned to his notebook filled with sketches, quotes, and personal stories, he remembered his encounter with the blood roses in Ferrara. Inspired, he penned a passage. "Like the roses that bloomed amid the altar, we too are nourished by faith. In our moments of doubt and pain, may we forever reach for the light, allowing grace to infuse our lives." As he compiled their stories, Carlo felt each word resonate within him, crafting a narrative that interweaved their voices like strands of golden silk. It transformed his journey with leukemia into a larger story of communal healing, one that echoed the miracles surrounding him. We are not defined by our struggles. We are defined by how we rise through them, he realized, feeling a warmth blossoming in his heart. The once sterile hospital began to feel like a sanctuary of hope. Each meeting became a reminder that miracles did not always manifest in grand gestures. Sometimes they emerged quietly amidst shared laughter, support, and love. Each narrative woven from faith allowed them all to reframe their experiences, offering glimpses of divine grace within each trial. As the weeks rolled on, anticipation grew around the release of their collaborative book. They decided to host a gathering, inviting family, friends, and hospital staff. The event promised to bridge the stories with the greater community, sharing their journey and how faith transformed their pain into purpose. On the night of the launch, the room filled with people from every corner of the hospital, patients, doctors, and family who came to witness this extraordinary moment. It felt like a celebration of human resilience and faith. Carlo stood at the podium, a mixture of excitement and nervousness coursing through him. "This book isn't just ours. It belongs to everyone who has struggled and fought," he announced, his voice steady with conviction. "We aim to show that through adversity, we can find beauty and grace." He gazed at the faces surrounding him. He saw gratitude reflected in their eyes, a profound acknowledgement of the journey they had undertaken together. As they shared readings from the book, mirthful laughter intermingled with tears, reminding everyone in attendance of the sacredness of life. Carlo realized that tonight they weren't just sharing stories, they were connecting threads of hope, wrapping those present in an embrace of understanding, compassion, and love. And as he glanced at the smiling faces, Carlo understood the true meaning of resilience. It was not merely about enduring suffering, but about discovering light within the shadows, a light that revealed the divine essence that binds humanity together. With each shared moment, they became living testaments to the miracles of faith, transforming his journey through leukemia into a lived experience of grace and hope. In that instant, Carlo knew this was just the beginning. The journey of healing they had embarked on together would continue, spreading beyond the hospital walls, igniting hope in communities near and far. They had uncovered not only their stories, but had lit the way for others to believe in the possibility of miracles that flower amidst the trials of life. As the weeks unfolded after the stirring launch event, Carlo felt an electric energy pulse through the community. The stories shared that night continued to resonate deeply, igniting a wave of inspiration that rippled outward, touching lives in unexpected ways. Word of Carlo and his friends' initiative spread, capturing the attention of local media, which sought to highlight their mission of hope and resilience. One afternoon, a small news crew arrived at the hospital for an interview. With cameras trained on him, Carlo stood beside his friends, their faces a mixture of excitement and nervousness. They spoke about their book, the miracles they had documented, and how their collective journey transformed each of them. "This isn't just our story, it's about everyone who's fighting their own battles. Everyone can find hope within their struggles," Carlo proclaimed, his heart swelling with purpose. After the story aired, their project took on a life of its own. Community members and organizations reached out, offering support in various forms. Workshops were organized where they could teach storytelling through art, expanding beyond just personal narratives to including expressions through music and performance. The response was overwhelming, a testament to the universal need for connection and the sharing of human experiences. At one of these workshops, held in a brightly lit community center, Carlo found himself surrounded by a diverse group of participants. He watched as children, teenagers, and adults settled into their seats, curiosity etched on their faces. "Welcome, everyone! Together, we're going to explore how our stories can not only heal ourselves, but also unite us. Let's discover the beauty of our journeys together," he said, welcoming them with open arms. The energy in the room was palpable as Carlo led them through various exercises, encouraging everyone to express their emotions through art and words. Laughter intermingled with heartfelt vulnerability, and as they shared snippets of their lives, Carlo noticed a beautiful tapestry of stories begin to unfurl. One participant, an older woman named Maria, stood up and shared her story of loss. Her voice trembled as she spoke of losing her husband to illness and the overwhelming grief that followed. Yet, in the midst of her sorrow, she discovered the strength to turn her pain into poetry. "Writing became my sanctuary," she explained, tears sparkling in her eyes. It helped me process my grief. My words became the light piercing through the darkness. Her bravery encouraged others to step forward, and one by one they began sharing their experiences. A young boy named Marco displayed vivid drawings depicting his journey with a chronic illness, showing how each piece captured moments of vulnerability but also resilience. A teenager, Aisha, sang a stirring song about overcoming bullying and finding her voice. Their stories filled the room with an electric energy of hope, binding them through shared experiences. As Carlo listened, a wellspring of gratitude surged within him. This collective experience was the essence of what they had set out to achieve. The power of connection was undeniable, like a warm embrace that wrapped around each of them. The stories began to weave together into a rich narrative about resilience, hope, and healing, forming a powerful community tapestry. After the workshop concluded, Carlo invited everyone to place their works on display for a community exhibit, showcasing the vibrancy and strength found in their stories. "Let our experiences shine," he urged them. "We have the power to inspire others outside these walls. Show them that miracles exist all around us." The day of the exhibit arrived, and the community center buzzed with excitement. Families filled the space, marveling at the artwork and the stories penned on display. The walls became a canvas not just for individual expressions, but for a collective belief in resilience. Carlo felt a rush of pride as he walked around, observing the engagement and appreciation from those who viewed the colorful displays, each a testament to the power of shared narratives. During the opening ceremony, Carlo took the mic once more. "Tonight, we gather to celebrate the human spirit," he said, his voice steady. "Each piece here represents a journey, a battle fought, and a celebration of resilience. It's a reminder that through vulnerability, we can connect and uplift one another." As he concluded his speech, a wave of applause washed over him, and he felt an overwhelming gratitude for the network of support they had created. Among the crowd, he spotted Luca, the boy who had once been hesitant but now stood tall, beaming with pride as he presented his painting to his family. His journey inspired hope in countless others, and in that moment, Carlo felt an unmistakable sense of fulfillment. The exhibit not only showcased the individual stories, but also sparked conversations throughout the community. People began to share their own vulnerabilities, opening discussions about challenges faced, whether through illness, loss, or personal struggles. The barriers that often separated them faded, replaced by a shared sense of humanity and connection. As summer rolled into fall, Carlo and his friends continued to engage with local schools, youth groups, and faith gatherings, spreading the message of resilience far and wide. They organized workshops that inspired not just storytelling, but also kindness initiatives, a ripple effect created by the warmth of empathetic hearts working together. Each workshop felt like a seed planted in the community, nurturing relationships and easing the burdens of those who felt isolated in their struggles. They created safe havens where stories were welcomed and conversations flowed freely. As the feedback poured in, it became clear that others were eager to engage in these meaningful exchanges. Carlo still faced the ebb and flow of his health, but with this community behind him, he felt a profound sense of purpose guiding him through each challenge. The connection he had created not only provided him with the strength to push through his battles, but also solidified the belief that everyone could find beauty in their stories, however painful they may be. One evening, as Carlo sat in his room, he reflected on the remarkable journey they had embarked upon. It was astonishing how a small group of friends facing their struggles had created a movement that inspired healing and connection for so many around them. Memories of the initial gathering in the hospital flooded his mind, and he smiled, grateful for the warmth of community that had enveloped them. He understood now that their stories were threads woven into a fabric of faith, resilience, and miracles, each one essential, each one a beacon for those searching for hope. They had become ambassadors of hope and healing, transforming their pain into purpose and creating a powerful network that continued to grow, showing others that through every trial, miracles could bloom. As evening fell, Carlo took a breath and penned down his thoughts, reminding himself of the importance of sharing and connecting. With each stroke of the pen, he committed to nurturing this movement, planting seeds of resilience and hope that would one day flourish into a legacy of love. Emboldened by what they had achieved, Carlo envisioned a future where their shared voice would echo beyond their town, into communities far and wide, becoming a guiding light for those still searching for their own miracles amid shadows. He felt an undeniable surge of faith, aware that this was just the beginning of a much larger tapestry, woven with compassion and understanding, destined to become a symbol of resilience and hope for generations to come. As autumn descended upon the community, Carlo felt a renewed sense of urgency and purpose. The time had come to put their vision into action, not just for their own healing, but to create an enduring legacy. He gathered his friends one crisp evening, the golden leaves swirling around them as they sat beneath the shining stars. "We need to take everything we've built and expand it," he declared, his heart racing with anticipation. "Let's create a program that reaches even more people, sharing our stories of resilience and hope." His friends nodded, recognizing the spark in his voice. Together, they brainstormed ideas for workshops, seminars, and storytelling sessions, aiming to create a widespread program that would empower those grappling with their own struggles. The discussions transformed into plans, and soon they were charting out how to engage schools, hospitals, and community centers, any place that could benefit from a message of love and understanding. As the weeks wore on, preparations for their initiative began bearing fruit. Carlo and his friends contacted local organizations, inviting them to collaborate and support their mission. They reached out to influential speakers who had inspirational stories of their own to share. With every conversation, the energy around their project grew, building an eager anticipation for what was to come. One morning, while discussing logistics, Maria, one of Carlo's friends, suggested holding a larger public event, an inclusive community gathering and workshop series focused on sharing personal stories with a creative twist. "We can include art, music, and interactive sessions. This doesn't just have to be lectures. It can be a festival of resilience," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We could call it the Tapestry of Hope," Carlos added, envisioning the event as a mosaic of experiences, each thread representing someone's story woven together in a beautiful display of humanity. The name resonated with them all, and they hurried to finalize details that would bring the event to life. As planning progressed, the townspeople began to rally around the initiative, eager to participate. They donated supplies, volunteered their time, and enthusiastically spread the word. Carlo was inspired by the collective energy that surrounded them, a testament to the strength of community. With each day that passed, it became clear that they were not just creating an event, they were igniting a movement. On the day of the Tapestry of Hope, the sun brightened the clear blue sky, and the community center came alive with vibrant colors and sounds. Balloons swayed in the gentle breeze, artists set up their easels, and musicians tuned their instruments. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Carlo, alongside his friends, worked feverishly to ensure everything was in place, double-checking schedules and simply absorbing the palpable energy in the air. As the event commenced, Carlo looked out at the gathering crowd and felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with apprehension. He stood at the front, microphone in hand, ready to welcome everyone to the celebration of resilience. Thank you for being here today. Every one of you is part of this beautiful tapestry woven together by our stories, he said, his voice steadying as he gazed into the faces before him filled with anticipation. Today, we come together to celebrate our journeys, every struggle and every moment of triumph. As stories began to flow from the stage, people rose to share their experiences with courage and vulnerability. Individuals described battles with illness, grief, and personal challenges, while others illustrated how they overcame adversity through creativity, love, and connection. The audience listened intently, enveloped in a wave of empathy that pushed aside the barriers that often separated them. During an art workshop that unfolded in parallel with the storytelling sessions, creativity blossomed. Participants were prompted to capture their stories through drawings, and the energy was infectious. Paintings emerged that represented a symphony of emotions. Vibrant colors expressed joy, while deep hues conveyed sorrow. A sense of community crystallized among everyone gathered as they shared supplies and ideas, supporting each other's expressions. In the music tent, local musicians played soft melodies, providing a soundtrack of encouragement to those sharing their stories. They often paused between songs to share small anecdotes about their own journeys, forming an even deeper sense of connection. One young musician sang about how music had helped him through his darkest days, lifting the spirits of everyone around with messages of hope. As the day rolled on, laughter mingled with tears. The event was filled with beauty in its imperfection. It perfectly portrayed what it meant to be human, struggling, rising, and finding strength amidst trials. Throughout the festival, Carlo saw people connecting, hugging, and exchanging contact information, planting seeds for future friendships and support systems that would ensure no one felt alone in their journey. By the end of the day, an aura of love permeated the community center. Carlo stood back and surveyed the remarkable scene, his heart swelling with pride. The sense of belonging enveloped everyone like a warm blanket on a cool evening. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the gathering, Carlo felt a profound gratitude for the miracles that had unfolded before him. At the conclusion of the event, they gathered in a large circle, hands joined together. Carlo spoke. "This is just the beginning. The tapestry we created today will ripple out into the world, reminding everyone that they are never alone in their struggles." There was a chorus of affirmations and applause, a celebration of all they had achieved together. They held on tightly to one another, feeling the power of connection surge through them, a promise to continue supporting each other. As the night deepened, people began to share their contact information, pledging to continue the conversations sparked at the event. Carlo overheard snippets of plans for future collaborations, new friendships blossoming in the wake of shared vulnerability. The community felt alive, a living testament to the power of stories and the healing power of connection. Later that evening, Carlo and his friends gathered in the park to reflect on the day. "I can't believe we did it!" Maria exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with delight. "We created something beautiful today." Carlo smiled, overwhelmed with emotion. "No, we didn't just create something. We planted a seed of hope. Together, we've launched a movement that will continue to touch lives." And then, in that sacred moment beneath the blanket of stars, they made a promise to each other to keep nurturing their community, to keep sharing their stories, and to continue planting miracles wherever they went. The power of connection was alive around them, a tapestry of hope in which each of them was a vital thread, ensuring that miracles would continue to bloom in all their forms. In the weeks following their festival, Carlo and his friends began to see the effects of their work ripple throughout the community.
The friendships cultivated during the event began to deepen, transforming into a robust support network that united individuals no longer feeling isolated in their struggles. Carlo found himself busier than ever, coordinating workshops, planning gatherings, and sharing stories of resilience across various platforms. Each day felt vibrant and alive, fueled by the collective energy of everyone invested in their mission.
They were all eager to keep the momentum going, to ensure that the movement they had ignited remained a continual source of hope for others. One sunny afternoon, they decided to host a community potluck at a local park, a time for families to come together in celebration of the connections they'd formed. The park hummed with laughter as children played, the aroma of homemade dishes wafting through the air as families set up picnic tables. Carlo felt a thrill of excitement, thrilled to see so many coming together. As the sun dipped low in the sky and cast a golden glow over the gathering, Carlo stood atop a small makeshift stage, nervously adjusting the microphone. He took a deep breath, scanning the crowd filled with familiar faces, some from the festival, some new, all united by the tapestry they were weaving together. Thank you all for coming today. This potluck is not just about food, it's about celebrating our community, Carlo said, his voice steady but filled with emotion.
Together, we've shared stories, we've woven miracles into the fabric of our lives, and we've shown one another that we're never alone. The crowd erupted into applause, their enthusiasm infectious. Carlo felt energized by the warmth surrounding him. As the afternoon progressed, they took turns sharing stories of hope and healing, each participant stepping forward to celebrate their journey in front of the gathering. One woman named Grace stood up to share her story. "I came to the festival feeling lost and alone, struggling with anxiety and feeling like no one understood me," she confessed, a slight tremor in her voice. "But through the stories I heard, I found the courage to reach out and share my own. This community has shown me that I am not alone, and for that I am eternally grateful." Grace's vulnerability resonated with everyone present, echoing the sentiments that had surfaced during the festival.
The laughter, the joy, and the tears flowed freely as they celebrated not just their struggles, but the triumphs that had emerged from them. Another young man, Leo, joined Grace. He had been hesitant to share before, but today he felt compelled. "After listening to everyone, I realized my story also has power. I've struggled with depression for years, but just hearing you all talk about your experiences has inspired me to seek help. I feel more connected to you all than I ever thought possible." Each story opened the door for others to share their experiences, creating a beautiful chain of support and acknowledgement. Carlo rotated among the tables, engaging with individuals and absorbing the laughter and camaraderie around him. It felt like every moment filled a piece of his heart, solidifying his belief that they were doing something truly extraordinary. As the last rays of sunlight dipped below the horizon, Carlo suggested they gather once more in a large circle, as they had done so many times before. "Let's commemorate this day and our connections together," he urged. They formed a circle, hands joined, feeling the warmth of each other's presence. "I want to express my gratitude for each of you," Carlo began. "Because of your courage, we have created a community that nurtures hope. You remind us that even though we face challenges, shared stories give us strength. We are all part of this tapestry, and together we will keep weaving miracles." The group cheered once more, their unity evident as they shared laughter and warmth. Carlo closed his eyes for a brief moment, allowing the feelings of joy, hope, and gratitude to wash over him. As the evening grew darker, someone brought out a guitar, strumming a soft melody that filled the space with music. Children danced and twirled, couples began to sway, and gradually everyone joined in, spreading joy around the circle. Carlo felt a profound sense of belonging. These were his people, the ones sharing not only in resilience, but also in celebration. After the music shifted into a quieter tune, Carlo noticed some attendees engaging in deeper conversations on the sidelines, while others painted a large mural that reflected their stories, an evolving piece of art that brought together vibrant colors, words, and images symbolizing hope and resilience. Throughout the night, Carlo moved from one group to another, nurturing connections and witnessing the seeds of friendship being sown. He overheard whispers of new initiatives, discussions of potential collaborations, and plans to spread the message of resilience beyond their immediate town. The evening drew to a close, and Carlo felt enveloped in a sense of fulfillment that words couldn't describe. As laughter faded and small groups began to depart, he stood alongside Maria, who shared his enthusiasm for everything they had achieved. "Tonight was magical, wasn't it?" she mused, watching as the last families packed up their dishes. "I can't believe how far we've come. It's like each gathering breathes new life into our mission." "Yes," Carlo agreed, his heart swelling with pride. "And I think we can go even further. We need to keep spreading this message, reaching out to more communities." As they discussed ideas for future events, the duo felt emboldened by their collective vision. There was so much potential to cultivate a larger network, to inspire others to embrace their narratives, and to plant seeds of hope wherever they went. With thoughts swirling in their minds, they returned home, filled with resolve and excitement for what lay ahead. Carlo knew that the connection they had fostered locally could blossom into something even more powerful. He envisioned a world where struggling individuals found solace in their narratives and transformed their pain into purpose. Thus, amidst the warmth of these evenings and the stories shared, Carlo felt a sense of duty to ensure that hope continued to blossom wherever their journey led. And as the future unfolded before him, he understood that together they had the power to spark miracles and cultivate a legacy that would inspire generations to come. As the days rolled into weeks, the momentum established during the festival inspired Carlo and his friends to think even bigger. They had emphasized the power of storytelling and community connection, but now it was time to broaden their outreach. Each of them felt the weight of their shared mission, and the idea of a traveling initiative to bring workshops and storytelling sessions to new towns began to blossom in their minds. One breezy afternoon, they convened in a cozy cafe, excitement buzzing around their table. Carlo, filled with energy, spoke first. "What if we launched a series of workshops in different communities, places that might need a boost of hope? We could bring our stories and create spaces for others to share theirs." Maria's eyes lit up at the suggestion. "That's a fantastic idea. We can reach out to schools, community centers, even local organizations. We've seen how powerful these gatherings can be. Imagine the impact we could have." Encouraged by the enthusiasm, they began outlining a plan. They would develop a curriculum tailored for different age groups and settings, focusing on ways to express feelings, share experiences, and cultivate empathy among participants. Each workshop would culminate in an inspiring art project, weaving together visual expressions of their stories into collective creations that could be proudly displayed. As they dove deeper into the planning, word began to spread about their initiative. Community members who had participated in past events eagerly volunteered to help organize, bringing additional resources and ideas to the table. Excitement surged within Carlo and his friends, knowing they were creating something impactful together. After several planning sessions, the first stop for their traveling initiative was set, a small town eager for engagement. The day they arrived, a warm sun bathed the community center, and Carlo felt a rush of anticipation. He could already envision the stories that would soon fill the room, transforming individual struggles into shared strength. As people began to trickle in, the energy grew, and Carlo sensed the familiar excitement he felt at their earlier gatherings.
Children, parents, teenagers, and community members flooded into the space, curious about what the evening had in store. He welcomed them warmly, noting the variety of backgrounds and experiences gathered under one roof. "Tonight is all about you and your stories," Carlo announced, his voice resonating with enthusiasm. "We're here to listen, to share, and to create connections that can inspire hope and healing." During the opening discussion, participants opened up about their lives. Some shared battles with illness, others recounted moments of courage and triumph. Each story intertwined with the next, forming a powerful web of experiences that captured the essence of resilience. Carlo watched in awe as vulnerable moments transformed into profound connections, showing how sharing could bridge divides and build a nurturing atmosphere. As they transitioned into the interactive portion of the evening, Carlo encouraged everyone to express themselves through art. Supplies were available for everyone, and colorful paints, markers, and canvases sprawled across tables. "Express yourselves, create your own tapestry of stories," he urged, excitement dancing in his eyes. "Let's illustrate the beauty of our journeys together." As participants focused on their projects, the room filled with laughter and chatter. Impressions of joy intertwined with discussions of their experiences. They painted, drew, and created, each brushstroke representing a narrative of struggle and resilience. Carlo moved from table to table, engaging with participants, soaking in the vibrancy of the collective creativity. Toward the end of the evening, the room transformed into a vivid gallery of expressions, and Carlo gathered everyone for a closing circle. "What we've created tonight is a testament to the power of our stories," he said, looking around at the colorful canvases. "This tapestry reflects the hope born from our struggles. Remember that even in our darkest moments, there is light to be found in sharing." As thanks were exchanged and people began packing up their art, Carlo felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. The stories shared, the bonds formed, and the murals created would resonate beyond this evening. Each participant had left a piece of themselves at the gathering, intertwining their narratives into a tapestry that would continue to grow. Following the workshop, feedback poured in from participants eager for more. Many expressed a desire to continue participating and collaborating on new projects. This enthusiasm fueled Carlo and his friends' determination to expand their efforts further. With inspiration blooming, they began brainstorming their next traveling workshop, eager to reach more communities. Plans were set in motion to partner with local youth groups, schools, and even hospitals so that the message of resilience would touch lives everywhere. As the warmth of the season bloomed, Carlo reflected on the progress. He realized their mission was transforming into something bigger than he had ever imagined. Each gathering, every story shared, was a layer in the tapestry of hope they were weaving together. They were building something powerful, something rooted in compassion and understanding that had the potential to inspire change beyond what they could comprehend. In the months to come, their initiative would not only plant seeds of hope, but it would become a movement that invited countless individuals to share their stories, embrace vulnerability, and discover the miracles woven into their journeys. Carlo felt a deep sense of purpose and a gentle urgency to see their vision become reality. The echoes of their shared stories reaching far and wide, reminding everyone that they were not alone and that miracles could always take root in their lives. A truly deserved lesson. If you agree, please like this video and subscribe for more stories. And tell us what you thought in the comments.